When we think of fintech, health IT, logistics, internet security, and more, we know they are all technological verticals where Georgia leads. But many are not aware that the global leader in rolled aluminum products and aluminum recycling technology is headquartered right here in Atlanta. That's right, a world leader that is transforming the inherent qualities of aluminum into vital components of innovative design in the creation of today's high-demand consumer products. Industry experts say it's not just aluminum, it's Novelis aluminum. And it's more than product transformation. It's a leadership team with extensive experience and expertise in global strategy, manufacturing excellence, technological innovation, and financial management. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, September 23rd, 2014, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. With sales offices and production sites in Asia, Europe, South America, and North America, Novelis aluminum sites span 9 countries on 4 continents. Its North American operations, headquartered here in Atlanta, are also its global headquarters. In North America alone, there are 11 facilities that manufacture aluminum sheet and light gauge products for beverage cans, containers and packaging, transportation, building products, and other industrial applications. Up to the Tech Talk, Jack Clark, Senior Vice President, Chief Technical Officer for Novelis. In his role, which he assumed in 2012, Jack leads a team that is responsible for delivering world-class performance in operations, engineering, research and development, and environmental safety and health. His mission, to drive Novelis' strategy of innovation, technology, and engineering excellence to all of its products and processes. Jack has over 30 years of industry experience and was previously Vice President, Operational Excellence at the company. He began his career at Novelis as Director of Global Engineering. Prior to joining the company in 2010, Jack held roles of increasing responsibility at Alcoa in North America, Europe, and Asia, including his role as Vice President of Operations, Alcoa China Rolled Products. On today's Tech Talk, it's an update on the Global Research Center the company opened in Kennesaw more than 2 years ago, a look at the rapid growth in rolled aluminum products, and insights into the company's world-class technology and industry innovation. Aluminum? No, it's Novelis aluminum, where Georgia leads. Find out more as we speak with the company's Senior Vice President, Chief Technical Officer, Jack Clark. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Jack, welcome to Tech Talk.
Well, thank you. It's really my pleasure to be here.
Well, let's see. It's been a little more than a couple of years, 2 years, since you guys opened your Global Research Center in Kennesaw. Have you realized the goals you set out to establish at the center?
Well, without a doubt. In fact, even I'm surprised with what we've been able to get accomplished here. First of all, it's turned out just to be an outstanding location, and I'll touch on a couple of different points with that. But the fact of the matter is we look at what we have been able to accomplish, and it's hard to believe 2 years has gone by already. But we've been able to grow. I think when we talked last, we had 40 people here, and now we're at 140 people in Kennesaw and continuing to grow. And at the same time, 2 years ago, that's when my position as the Chief Technical Officer for the company was formed. And this all comes together in really a great success story for Novelis and for our customers, because not only do we have a world-class facility, but the organization that we've put in place and also the people that we've been able to bring into the Kennesaw facility has just been a great plus for Novelis.
One of the biggest buzzes we hear a lot about on Tag Radio is the challenge of recruiting, and then also the other side of the coin, retaining good technical talent. Maybe talk a little bit, get a little granular about how you staffed the center and what's been your experience as far as recruiting specifically and retaining technical talent here in Georgia.
Sure. First of all, as I said earlier, the location's been a real plus. People want to come to the southeast United States, and certainly with all the pluses in the state of Georgia, it's been relatively easy for our entry-level positions all the way up into the mid-level positions to be able to find the people that we're looking for. specifically, we've been able to set up good relationships with Georgia Tech, with Southern Poly, and we continue to talk with other universities as well nearby. And we've offered, we have internships, we have co-ops going, clearly full-time positions, and that's all moving in the right direction for us. One thing, some of our jobs are highly specialized, and so for those, in fact, we've had to go on worldwide searches, and what we find out, there may only be one or two people in the world that are really that we can find as candidates there. But really, that's more the exception than the rule than it is anything else.
Well, I think when go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please go.
Yeah, one other thing that we've done, and this really looks at retaining people. First of all, we want to have the right culture, so I like to keep things simple. I want to have an environment where people look forward to coming to work because they know that they're making a great contribution to what Novelis is trying to do. With our entry-level individuals, specifically the engineers, we've developed an engineering development program, which is basically a 2-year program where all the young engineers from around Novelis come together for a series of learning weeks. And we get to teach them and really start to tell them all the things that they need to be successful. I wish when I started my career many years ago, I would have had the opportunity to participate in a program like this. And then the final thing that I wanted to point out, and this really gets at the retention subject, and this is a technical career ladder that we spent a huge amount of time on, but it's really, so we can hire the young engineers, but then of course they want to know what's next. And people that are, say, mid-level in their careers, everybody wants to know what's the next step in their career.
Sure.
And so in a lot of places I've seen this is somewhat of a mystery, but instead what we've done is we've really tried to put this out on the table and show people, you can go from here all the way up to my position as a senior vice president, and here are some of the steps, here are the things that we're looking for. And it's really been well received, and I think, again, it takes the mystery out of advancement in the company.
Well, I think, one of the overused, they talk about disruptive technologies. Certainly in that context, everybody talks about, quote-unquote, innovation. And I think that there are, even in the most traditional industries, innovation has become so critically important. Change is the only consistent, I guess, everybody kind of jokes about.
Right.
But let's talk a little bit about the image that you guys have at the core of your business, is sustainability. Does that drive your innovation efforts?
Well, most definitely, and with this being a new facility and a new organization, we've certainly taken the time to define what innovation looks like to us. But getting specifically to what you're talking about with sustainability, this is what's driving Novelis's business decisions as we move forward. So it's not something we just talk about, but our actions are definitely backed by the whole idea around sustainability. And so then where does research and technology come into this? Really, there's 4 different areas when we look at sustainability from my perspective, and that'd be in the area of energy consumption, water, landfill, and recycling. And recycling is really a big item for Novelis. We're the world's largest aluminum recycler by far, and we're going to continue growing that. And I want to say the easy steps for the most part are done, and we're right now this year we'll finish out around 50% recycled content across all the products that we make. But our goal is to get to 80% by the year 2020. And now it starts to get more difficult, and we really are having to get into the science and the metallurgy of the different products that we produce, and looking at how can we open up the chemical composition so that we can put more recycled product into what we offer right now. And so, for instance, with can, we're offering our EverCan product, which is a guaranteed 90% recycled content, and we want to continue growing that, and that's been well received. In fact, our first customer is a local microbrewery right in Marietta, Georgia. And with automotive, what I find after the price of the car and the fuel economy, customers are starting to want to know what's the recycled content in the cars. And with the increased use in aluminum, that's another big area of focus for us, is how do we go from our current level of recycled content for automotive and move that up to the 65-70% range.
Well, especially with the upcoming launch of the Ford F-150, the new F-150, I'm going to guess that automotive is taking a whole new emphasis as far as the aluminum market and your involvement in automotive. Let's talk about how that's going to impact your growth and your business.
Right, and let me start off just in simple terms. This is really the next big thing that's going to happen in the aluminum industry, and I've waited my entire career. I graduated many years ago, and when I first went off to work, they talked to me about aluminum-intensive vehicles, and I was like, yeah, I get it. That makes a lot of sense, and have waited a number of decades to finally see what's taking place right now. And it is really exciting, and it's no longer talk. It's Ford coming out and talking about the aluminum F-150, and we're very proud to be a leading supplier with Ford on that program.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, and what we're really talking about here and what's driving this is the need to reduce carbon footprint, the need for increased fuel economy, not only because the government requires it, but as gas gets more expensive, obviously the consumers require it. And it's really something to see it all come together. The contracts are in place, the facilities are going into the ground worldwide for Novelis, and pretty soon the trucks are going to be rolling off the production line, and this is just the beginning for us.
Well, from an esoteric, thinking in terms of speed and weight and design and the, I guess, flexibility, if you will, of aluminum to be able to create some pretty exciting stuff. I think, I can't imagine, it's almost back to the future kind of thing coming to reality.
Well, it is, and I'm sure everybody can get the idea. This reduces the weight, and it's been all over the press with the F-150, the all-aluminum chassis or the hang-on parts. It's going to take 700 pounds out of the weight of the truck.
Amazing.
Then that drives smaller engines that are more fuel efficient, and the whole vehicle's been redesigned around this weight savings, and it's going to be dramatic for anybody that's had the opportunity to drive a aluminum intensive vehicle. It's a much different experience and quite enjoyable. We're really happy to be the world leader in this position, and we intend to hold that, and consequently the research and technology group here in Kennesaw really plays a big role in that, because let's face facts, the steel guys aren't going to sit still and just let us come in and start to take their markets. They're developing their ultra high strength steels. And guess what? We're working on the next generation of high-strength aluminum alloys and also the pretreatments that have to go onto those sheets once they've been produced. Very exciting times.
Really, it's not like you guys haven't been challenged and coming up with some innovative things in the past. It's game on in terms of this is a major breakthrough that is going to make a lot of changes in how this thing is modeled and prototyped and leveraged for all kinds of uses. I can see, again, it impacting so many things that we haven't even begun. One of the things that I've heard said so many times, and I don't know exactly how to repeat it, but it's that Jobs quote about people don't really know what they want until they see it. I think that once they see the truck and realize the efficiency and, as you point out, the weight, and I'm again going back to even design influences and those kind of things, game changer is an understatement. I think I'd be remiss in not talking a little bit about the Technology Association. Obviously, partnerships are at the heart of TAG. How have local partnerships helped you to advance your business?
Well, as we talked earlier, the first partnerships that we've really put into place are with some of the local universities, and it's not only about just trying to offer opportunities for their graduates, but it's also looking at how can they help us from a research standpoint. Mm-hmm. And so, for instance, where I was talking about some of the positions where we've really had to search the world, we've been able to go to some of the local universities, and they have some expertise at the universities that are able to help us out. And so while we're trying to fill our full-time position, we're quite happy to interact with the universities and have them do some work for us. And the more of that we can do, quite honestly, the better. And we're in a very nice position here in Georgia to have really some world-class educational institutions that are very, very willing to work with us, and we've had some real good experience there. And we're expanding that into other areas. We had some representatives from Georgia State here recently talking to us about the work that they're doing around innovation, and as you mentioned earlier on in the interview, everybody's talking about innovation, and certainly we are too. We're trying to understand exactly how is it that we can drive innovation throughout our company, and I look for good things to come from that.
Well, and operating in a vacuum, or trying to deal in a I'm trying to think of the right term, but a silo, is what we used to call it, and isolated from other visionaries, if you will, where you don't get to share and you don't get to see best practice co-working spaces and some of the evolution of even some of the incubators that have spawned these disruptive startups that have come about. A lot of that stemming from collaboration and from cross-partnerships, the way that you're pollinating them with the universities. That's pretty obvious that you're not only in the game, but you got all of the tools and the visionary perspective to compete very, very successfully. Once again, one of the things we get to enjoy is a spectrum of different verticals, health, IT, and logistics, and so many others.
Right.
Here's one that I don't think most people realize that Georgia leads in, and that's in aluminum. And hats off to what you guys are doing, and continued success.
Yeah, Jeff, I also like to add that we're a very, very big supporter of the Technology Association of Georgia. We routinely have many people attending the different functions. I have a number of people on my staff that serve on the different committees and actually lead some of them. And I've been very impressed with what TAG brings to the state and also brings to Novelis. So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Well, Jack, thanks again for taking a few minutes from your busy schedule to tell us a little bit of insights of what's going on, and also good luck and great success on the new Ford, and hats off. Congratulations. Thank you for taking time to visit with us today on Tech Talk.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. Thank you.